Hey, amazing, wonderful, beautiful people. I'm back. The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson on Work, Miracles, and Money. And we are still in chapter 10, Positivity. And this is where we are. The second type of positivity concerns how we view possibility. A man named Jonathan came to me one day quite depressed about money problems. He always seemed to just scrape by, he said, and he wasn't even doing with his life what he really wanted to do. He worked as a carpenter, yet he longed to be a musician. He was always putting out financial fires. In fact, he was now facing a tax bill larger than he could pay, and he never seemed to get it together as a musician. He said to me numerous times as we spoke, "I have an issue about being taken care of. I never think that there will be enough." My, my eyes usually glaze over when I hear such explanations. First, because they're self-fulfilling prophecies. And second, because the miracle is never in the past, but in the present. In God's universe, there is always enough. The more I inquired about Jonathan's circumstances, the more I discovered that he was not just a carpenter, he was considered an excellent carpenter. Yet he turned down most of the jobs he was offered. He did this, he told me, because he really wanted to be a musician, and he didn't want to give the universe the wrong message. He figured that if he did too much carpentry work, his possibilities of a musical career would dry up. I can understand how he would think that. I pointed out that from what he was telling me, there were no musical opportunities at the moment. Yet there was a tax bill. Metaphysically, it didn't make sense to argue that if he worked to make money to pay his bills, the universe will reward him by closing doors. Quite the opposite. Anytime we show up for life with integrity and impeccability, doors open. I'm going to say that again because I'm experiencing that right now. Anytime we show up for life with integrity and impeccability, doors open. Remember the book, The Four Agreements? The first one is to be impeccable with your word. The part of the story that most caught my attention was the fact that while he had been praying for money, he had been turning down work. It's like the old story of the man who found himself in a storm, with flooding waters rising around him, and prayed to be rescued, yet turned down offered rides in a car, a boat, and finally a helicopter, exclaiming, "God will take care of me." Soon he drowned and went to heaven. Upon meeting God, he upbraided him, complaining that in his hour of need, God had not been there for him. To which God responded, "What do you mean I wasn't there for you? I sent a car, a boat, I sent a helicopter." Jonathan seemed to me had an odd concept of being taken care of. We are taken care of, but as the saying goes, God helps those who help themselves. It is a cliche because it is so often said, but it is so often said because it is very true. When you find yourself doing the things that you need to do, you will get the things that you want. If you have to work a job that you don't really like to get to the place you want to get, you have to work the job you don't really like so you can get to the place you want to get. You'll get there faster because you won't have the stress on you of, "Oh my God, how am I going to pay these bills?" That's my daughter downstairs yelling at my grandson, even though I told her I was going to be reading a book. She does it all the time. Ignore her. Native Americans recognized that wherever there was a poison in the forest, an antidote to the poison could be found within several feet. Usually what we're looking for on some level is right in front of us. The universe is wired to give us what we need. Yet we have to show up for the experience of life with a positive attitude in order to experience its gifts. I've known people who seem to think that waking up in the morning, driving to work, and showing up at their desk should be enough. It ain't enough. You got to get up and exclaim and claim the glory of whatever the God of your understanding is. You got to be grateful and take on the day. I get up. I think I've told you this many times before. I have beside my bed things I choose, and I say those things, and I read cards. I make sure that I get up in the best manner, very happy with my attitude. On the drive to work, I'm excited. I'm drinking my tea and I'm thinking about all the wonderful things that are going to happen. Now it's summer and I'm Instacarting, but I get in that car and I'm like, this is the perfect time for me to listen to different inspirational things. It's time for me to talk to some friends on the phone while I drive. I make sure that I'm making myself available for the highest level of happiness because it's my attitude. Our attitude, a willingness to bring all emotional, psychological, material, and intellectual resources to a job makes all the difference. It's not just what the job brings to us that matters, but what we bring to the job. I'll do whatever it takes. And yes, even sometimes I'm willing to do windows. Everyone say, "I don't do windows." I'm willing to do windows. It is the attitude of a winner, not a loser. I go over and beyond because over and beyond always comes back to me. I know people say, well, that's not in my job description. I don't have a job description. I go there and do whatever I feel I need to do. My description is whatever needs to be done, I'm going to get it done. And it doesn't matter if I'm not getting paid for that. I know I get paid for it. If nothing else, the satisfaction of knowing I did something more than I was asked to do. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that get me really, really high. Could be an ego thing, but sometimes ego is good. No, it's never good to edge God out, but it does make me feel better about myself to be able to be of help. Jonathan saw carpentry as somehow beneath him, not recognized what seemed to me to be an obvious gift that had been laid in front of him. His succeeding as a carpenter wouldn't limit his possibilities as a musician. Carpentry was a way to make money, pay off his bills, and have some cash so he could support himself while he pursued whatever dreams were in his heart. By disparaging his own work, he was limiting the possibilities in front of him. The shift in perception would be his miracle. Instacarting gives me the opportunity to daily bring in some money to put to the side to pay some bills until I get to where I want to be. And where I want to be is this amazing philanthropist entrepreneur who creates things and sells things and has her own stores. And I love teaching too, but I'd like to motivate and inspire. But right now I got to motivate and inspire picking up people's stuff and taking it to their house. It doesn't matter whether we're contributing to the universe as a carpenter or a musician, a teacher or an artist, a janitor or a caretaker, a parent or a salesperson. What matters is our consciousness while we're doing it, our willingness to be of service in whatever way is presented, seeing nothing as either above or beneath us, yet important because it is in front of us. Let me say that again. What matters is our consciousness while we're doing it, our willingness to be of service in whatever way is presented, seeing nothing as either above us or beneath us, yet important because it's in front of us. We should never say yes or no to anything without reflection and contemplation. For the highest purpose of a situation is not always obvious, but it is always there. In a universe where God's handwriting is everywhere, we never have to worry that life will lead us away from our greatest good. It will always lead us into our greater good as we proactively and positively bring it to the fullness of ourselves. I was Instacarting today and I was getting frustrated because I was like, this is not enough money. What am I doing? I create what's going on. I come out the store and there's a feather, a big old feather right by my car that I did not see when I got out the car to go in the store. I believe feathers are angels giving us signs that they're there with us. And there was just an angel saying, girl, you good. We got this. Just keep going. Just keep going. The third type of positivity concerns how we look at ourselves. A Course in Miracles tells us that all the children of God are special, and none of the children of God are special. We're all imbued with the same potential brilliance because we're all imbued with the Spirit of God. Thinking that your talent or your abilities make you special will produce fear, because such thinking posits a separation between you and others. Separation between you and others means separations between you and God. And separation from God produces not power, but rather a hidden hysteria. I'm better than anyone else is not actually a success-oriented thought form. I'm personally no big deal, but I'm here, so I guess I'm the one who's supposed to be channeling the genius of God in this particular situation is better. I look at myself as everything and nothing at the same time. I'm everything to myself, everything to God, and I'm nothing to myself and nothing to God. In the sense of I get to be, okay, my thought process left me there because what was I about to say? When I say nothing to God, I mean, in a minute or two, okay, I'm having a brain thing because I don't agree with that statement. So what happens when I don't agree with the statement? It stops. So I do believe I'm something to God. So I'm everything to God and I'm everything to myself, but so is everybody else. So let's erase that nothing, because nothing didn't even register right, because I am something and so are you. So let's let that go. Didn't mean that statement. That statement must have come out of a part of me that has the low self-esteem, because as soon as I said it, I couldn't even back it up because my body was like, that's a lie. You are something. And so are you. It's humble, not arrogant, to realize that the genius of God lies within you. Just remember that the genius itself is not in you any more than it is in anyone else. That's what I mean to say. So when I say I am definitely always everything to God, but everybody is everything to God. Our job isn't to create our genius. We couldn't, by the way, but to make ourselves available to God. Yet we must work at what we do, make efforts to improve our skills, and so forth. We can surrender the ultimate performance of task and allow the Holy Spirit to flow through us. Our power as miracle workers in the workplace is to pray that we be used, our hands, our feet, our minds, and our behavior to be of service to a greater good. That we be empty vessels through which God will produce his extraordinary wonders. That's my editing. We're simply here to serve a higher plan for the enlightenment of the world, and therein lies our happiness and success. A friend of mine, a brilliant television writer, I've read her scripts and I'm blown away each time. But when she talks about having to pitch one of those scripts to the TV network executive, you'd think she was about to get 20 cavities filled with no Novocaine. It's one thing to work like the consummate professional she is on the writing itself that I admire greatly, but the angst and the nervousness before every pitch meeting, that I question. For the one who sourced the writing will also lead the meeting, if she will let him. In A Course in Miracles is written that we should be less concerned about our own readiness and more consistently aware of his or hers. I teach yoga, and I'm a really good yoga teacher. I haven't been teaching now, but I am a certified yoga teacher. Before every class in the beginning when we're breathing, I always ask God to let me just be the vessel and to bring the yoga to the people like they need it at this moment. And I have always been very good at that. And I know why, because I don't take the credit. It ain't me, it's God. There is a story in the Gospel of Thomas in which Jesus tells his disciples to go into the countryside and to teach the gospel, by which he meant simply demonstrate love. Wanting more specific direction, they ask them, "What should we say?" To which he responds, "I'll tell you when you get there." Think about that story in light of my scriptwriter friend. Her most powerful preparation for a meeting with the TV executive would be, obviously, to write the best script possible. But after that, surrender the meeting and pray for whoever's going to be there. Ask that everything that happens in the meeting serve the highest creativity possible for all concerned. Know that she doesn't have to decide in advance every word she's going to say at the meeting, because he who lives within her, or she who lives within her, will reveal all things with a miraculous quality she can't possibly formulate with her rational mind. Her greatest power lay in the emptying of her mind all the thoughts, aiming for the Zen beginner's mind, and praying that they be replaced by his or her. Once she'd done her work and had all the information she needed in her conscious mind, her subconscious could take it from there. Her mind could formulate a pitch, but only her spirit can be inspired and inspire others. In summation, there are 4 rules for miraculous work creation. Be positive, send love, have fun, kick ass. Amen. That is the end of chapter 10. Moving on tomorrow, we'll be in chapter 11, job versus calling. I think that's going to be a good one. So come on back and join me. Thank you for your time. I enjoy doing this because I feel like it's a calling for me, and I'm going to continue to do it. After this book, I'll move on to the next book. But I now know that I don't have to decide. The book will choose me that wants to be written. So I don't know what it'll be. But I thank you for your time and your energy and your support. And I hope that you like this video, that you share this video, and that you subscribe to my channel. Bye.